Hello, and welcome to my Environmental Science Final podcast with Jorb. Today we're exploring one of the most amazing and important places on our planet, the tropical rainforests of Costa Rica. There are four main types of forests found throughout Costa Rica: tropical rainforest on the Caribbean and southern Pacific coast, cloud forest in the central highlands and surrounding mountains, dry forests up in the northern Pacific region, and mangrove forests along the Pacific coast. My podcast today will be focusing on tropical rainforests, which, when we look at graph 1, we can see any shade of light, dark, and olive green takes up most of the surface area, which are our tropical moist and wet forests. Costa Rica may look super tiny on a map, but it has a giant impact on Earth. Costa Rican forests are full of plants and animals found almost nowhere else, and they play a huge role in keeping our air clean, our climate stable, and our planet healthy. We're going over a ton of things today, like why these forests matters, what threatens them, how it affects us, how Costa Rica already does a great job in protecting them, and how we can help from over here. So why do they matter? Tropical rainforests occupy a super tiny fraction of Earth's land surface, 0.03%, yet support extraordinarily high levels of biodiversity. Costa Rica alone contains an estimated 5% of global biodiversity, despite being smaller than the entire state of West Virginia. Much of this biodiversity is concentrated in its tropical rainforest. If we compare graph 2 to graph 1, we see the majority of species clusters are found in the bright, dark, and olive green sections. These forests perform quiet miracles every day called ecosystem services. The trees filter out air by absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing clean oxygen for us to breathe into the atmosphere. They stabilize local and global climates and help with precipitation regulation and also protect soil from erosion and degradation. Plants and fungi like aloe vera and ginkgoba hold chemical compounds that form the basis of thousands of medications, including treatments for diabetes, internal bleeding, fevers, and infections. Rainforests are also a crucial part of the water cycle by increasing rainfall and being a huge freshwater provider. So what's causing the loss? Globally, tropical rainforests are losing ground, and although Costa Rica is doing significantly better than most countries, it's still not completely immune. One of the biggest threats to tropical rainforests is deforestation, mainly from agricultural expansion. This includes small-scale slash and burn practices, which is a farming method where forests are cut down and burned to clear land. Farmers cut trees, burn land, and plant crops or raise cattle, which clears forests quickly and removes nutrients from the soil. After a few years of this, the land can't support these crops anymore, so the forest gets burned over again. Even when occurring on a relatively small scale like it does in Costa Rica, these activities still fragment habitats which damage local species, populations, and diversity. Another threat is illegal mining. Costa Rica banned open pit mining in 2010, but some illegal operations are still clearing out large areas of forest in search for Costa Rica's main minerals, gold and copper, which ends up contaminating waterways with mercury and other toxic runoff. The pollution doesn't just stay in the forest, though. It travels through the rivers, gets into the soil, into the crops, and into the wildlife, creating long-term damage on humans, animals, and the entire environment. There's also fragmentation from habitat degradation. Even when trees aren't completely cut down, fragmented forests lose the conditions that species rely on. Roads, buildings, and other human activities break big forests into tiny pieces. When habitats are broken up, animals have trouble migrating, finding food, and safely raising their young. Animals like jaguars found in Costa Rica need intact territory for hunting space. Amphibians and fungi need consistent and undisturbed humidity levels. Fragmentation leads to temperature fluctuations, humidity increases, and available habitat for sensitive species decreases. What are the consequences from this? Losing tropical rainforest is not just a local issue, there are worldwide consequences too. When the forests are cut or burned, air quality decreases. Trees act like giant air filters, and without them, more pollutants will stay in the atmosphere. The carbon stored inside of the trees is released into the air when they're cut, adding more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This process accelerates climate change, leading to more severe weather, ocean acidification, and rising temperatures and sea levels. As mentioned earlier, loss of rainforest land equals loss of biodiversity. When a species loses its home, it will have a harder time sustaining itself. When one species declines, it will affect everything else on the food chain as well. For example, if a rare insect goes extinct in Costa Rica, the bird species that primarily eats that insect would struggle, and any larger predator of that bird would be affected as well. Many species in Costa Rica are endemic, meaning they're only found in one area or geographic location, and they evolve in extremely specific habitats. When their land is damaged, they often can't adapt or relocate, which affects entire ecosystems. Since rain plays such a crucial part in the water cycle, our freshwater system is affected as well. Rainforests collect tons of rainfall a year, and after filtering it through the roots and the soil, clean water is released into rivers and springs. Without this natural cycle, droughts would be tougher and last longer, floods would be stronger, and freshwater would be significantly less abundant. Are tropical rainforests really that special? The short answer is yes. It goes without saying that these forests are biodiversity hotspots, but these rainforests are also part of the Mesoamerican Biological Corridor, which is a huge natural pathway that connects North and South America. This pathway allows animals like jaguars, tapirs, monkeys, and birds to migrate, breed, and maintain genetic diversity across Central America. Costa Rica has several types of forests, but its tropical rainforests are especially remarkable. Rainforests have 4 layers: the emergent, canopy, understory, and forest floor. The top layer is the emergent, and it deals with the brunt of the bipolar Costa Rican weather. The roof of the rainforest is called the canopy, and it's where the majority of the species are found, like macaws, toucans, and monkeys. The understory houses most shrubs, baby trees, moss, and fungi, and the forest floor is pretty self-explanatory. Because of the unique features of each layer, many species will spend their entire life in just one area. Interestingly, in tropical rainforests, rainfall can take up to 10 minutes to get from the canopy to the forest floor. Finally, these rainforests are closely connected to Costa Rica's identity and economy. Ecotourism brings millions of visitors to the country a year. People travel from all over the world to see Costa Rica's forests, wildlife, and volcanoes. Tourism revenue usually directly funds national parks, research, and preservation projects, which supports habitat restoration. Not only does it benefit the environment, but it also helps the citizens of Costa Rica. Ecotourism provides livelihoods for jobs like guides, translators, and lodge owners. Like everything, there are of course downsides to tourism in Costa Rica when it's done unethically. Increasing visitor traffic can contribute to fragmentation and disrupt local wildlife as well. What steps are already being taken? Costa Rica didn't always look the way it does now. In the 1970s and 80s, the country lost nearly half of its forests. But instead of giving up, Costa Rica had one of the biggest environmental comebacks in the world and became the first country to reverse their deforestation. If we take a look at graph 3, we can see in between 1940 and 1987, we see a 54% reduction in forest cover, with the lowest being 21% in 1987. By 2010, we're back up to 52% and climbing. The Costa Rican government started a program called Payment for Ecosystem Services, or PES. This program pays landowners to keep their forests healthy instead of cutting them down. The government recognized the benefits the forest provides, so Costa Ricans are rewarded for maintaining them. Today, about 26% of the country's land is protected as national parks, biological reserves, and wildlife refuges. This means more than a quarter of the entire nation is dedicated to protecting the environment. Another key to Costa Rica's success, like mentioned before, is ecotourism. Millions spend money every year to hike, see rare animals, experience nature, and that money goes directly back into the environment. Because the economy earns money from keeping forests intact, protecting nature becomes the smarter long-term choice. Ethical tourism encourages locals and tourists to take part in conservation. Money from tourism supports local communities and fund conservation programs. For example, the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve uses its funds from tours to protect rare species like the quetzal bird. The Tortuguera National Park protects endangered sea turtles with money from tours. What can we do? You may be thinking, but I'm just one person. What can I actually do? The answer is a lot more than you think. There are tons of actions you can take from millions of miles away. Number 1, learning and sharing information. Use your voice. Talk about rainforests with friends, family, classmates. The more people that understand the issue, the more they care and the more they'll pay attention. Number 2, buy products that protect forests. Look for labels like Rainforest Alliance Certified, Fair Trade, or FSC, Forest Stewardship Council. These labels mean the product came from farms or forests that protect and benefit ecosystems and have to meet strict environmental standards. Number 3, cut down on waste. Producing paper, plastics, and packaging uses natural, finite resources. Reducing consumption helps protect forests and decreases the pollution that harms them so much. Number 4, support conservation groups. Some organizations let kids adopt an acre of rainforest, support a rescued animal, or help protect national parks around the world. Number 5, make sustainable choices daily. Using less energy, reducing food waste, recycling, and choosing reusable products all help reduce pressure on ecosystems globally. Number 6, encourage responsible companies. Many rainforest problems come from large monopolizing companies. When us little people choose eco-friendly brands, companies see that. They're affected, they notice, and they'll change their behavior. In summary, tropical rainforests are some of the most important ecosystems on Earth. They give us medicine, oxygen, climate stability, and home millions of species, but they're also fragile and finite. Costa Rica shows that protecting nature isn't impossible when a country, its people, and its visitors work together. Whether you live near a rainforest or thousands of miles away, you can still make choices that help the planet. Reduce your waste, practice sustainability, support local conservation groups, and never stop caring about the earth. Thank you so much for listening.